Welcome back to another Caring Support podcast. Now, this week we're really excited because we have three amazing superstars on here from Reflexology Association. Now, we're really excited to have them because, the thing is, a lot of people, some people might know a little bit about reflexology or maybe nothing. But I think it's important that they understand the value that it provides, and it's an important part of people's health. So today we have three amazing ladies, and I'm going to ask if they could introduce themselves quickly and maybe tell them, a brief little thing about each other. And let's start with Nicole.
Hello, James. I am so excited to be here today. My name is Nicole Greaves. I've been in healthcare for over 3 decades. I became a reflexology therapist in 2014, and I now offer foot reflexology therapy service for the mind and body. And I just enjoy learning and being part of a wonderful profession. Thank you.
Amazing. How about you, Laura?
Hello, my name is Laura Marrast, and I am the Director of Operations at the Reflexology Association of Canada, which is a national professional association, which we'll get to talk about later on. But I am not a professional reflexology therapist, but I've been with the association for 8 years, and I come, to this podcast talking more about the guidelines and standards and, some of the other aspects surrounding the profession. So really excited to be here today and talking with all of you.
Absolutely. And I stand corrected because Callie was busy texting me on the side telling me, well, there's 4 women here. Are you blind? Okay, I added the blind part. But Lise, you're up.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here as well. I'm a student, still not, I was just recently certified, and now I've scheduled my exam to be a registered reflexologist. So hopefully by the end of this month, I will be among the greats and be registered reflexologist. So I decided today's my birthday. I turned 49. What? And I'm looking 50 years old is a new career. So I'm looking forward to being a reflexologist, helping people, and it's a passion of mine. So I love learning.
That's wonderful. And thank you. And to Laura, I didn't really address that. Okay, so last but not least, certainly, we have lovely, did I get the name right? Ines?
Ines. It's good. One of my wishes is that when I die, that all I want is somebody to pronounce my name correctly and say bon voyage. So it's all good. And I was wondering which of the 4 of us wasn't awesome, because apparently there are 3 awesome people.
Well, you know what it's for, and that was my mistake. So
hey, I won't take any of that personally, and I won't assume it's not me. I am currently professional development manager working with Laura at the Reflexology Association of Canada. But I came there, and I am also a practitioner of reflexology. I teach reflexology, and it originally came to me sort of like a natural language because my father practiced reflexology. So I just kind of grew up knowing it. So that's who I am. A fan, definitely a fan of reflexology.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And by the way, all 4 of you are awesome. Okay, let's be clear. And by the way, Lise, happy birthday.
Yes.
Maybe we can sing to you afterwards. Okay. Okay, so at this point in time, the moderator, the lovely Callie that works with me, does an amazing job in our podcast. She's going to take over and ask more of the questions, as you all know, are coming.
All right, so we are actually going to put Lise in the hot seat first, because I think because she's currently in school, she should answer the question, what is reflexology?
Oh, geez, you are putting me on the spot. That is one of the questions on the exam. It's a study of the reflexes. That's what it is. And it's therapeutic methodologies that say that every organ, gland, and is connected to our feet. So There's 7,200 nerves connected to our feet. Oh, was I wrong, Ines? Whoops, I apologize. And reflexology is to help people. And yeah, I'm excited to learn more and more about it.
That's awesome. I'm just going to say we're going to cut her some slack today, Ines. It's her birthday. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, but I hate to be wrong.
It's actually not your fault. There's some knowledge around that isn't quite correct. So
Okay.
we'll cut you the slack, please.
Thank
Would you like to elaborate a little more?
Sure.
Feel free, yeah.
So most people do know foot reflexology, and often people do start in foot reflexology. But even foot reflexology, there are a bunch of different techniques. There's foot, hand, ear. There are many modalities in reflexology, and they all have in common that they're therapeutic methods. They're meant to be therapeutic to help the body relieve stress, get circulation going, and the biggest one in my books is to actually help the body do what the body does best. And the body really wants to be well and healthy. The thing they also have in common is that the idea behind it is by working on one part of the body, you're mapping it to another part of the body. So on foot reflexology, the idea is by working the foot, you're working the whole body. And the reflexes in the feet, that's where it comes from. And so
Yeah, it's fascinating. Absolutely. How about you, Laura? What do you think?
Well, I was going to throw the question back to you and Callie, whether or not either of you have ever tried reflexology, either foot or hand or ear. Have you, James?
Yeah, all three. So I was saying
Oh.
before we started our recording that when I knew somebody years ago, and they were doing all the stuff on my ears and my hands, and of course on the feet felt amazing. I'm just going to say. But yeah, and there would be certain points that would be more painful and stuff. And then she's explaining all the stuff, and I'm like, this is fascinating because I think for a lot of people, they have no idea what's really transpiring in our body, and we look at just the organ, just the area we think's the problem, but we don't realize that some of these extremities, such as our feet, our hands, or whatever, can have an impact on the improvement of our health. So yeah, absolutely, Laura.
I have not experienced one myself, but when I was little, my mom went to a reflexologist, but being little, I mean, can you tell a 3-year-old to say reflexologist and get that word out of them? So she actually called them toe ticklers. So it was always a great day in my neighborhood when mom was like, we're going to go see the toe tickler, because she had candy. She had a candy in a bowl on a counter, and I was able to eat said candy while mom was busy having her treatment done. So I mean, I have never personally done it. It is on my list of things to do, if I can ever get some time to do it. But yeah, I have some good memories with therapy of that variety. So
yeah,
I think one of the benefits of reflexology the most is its versatility. So we mentioned the fact like you can do it on your feet or your hands, your ears, your face. There's some therapists that also work like the shoulders and back area. I personally love hand reflexology because it's something you can kind of do anywhere. Like you need to be in a chair, someone working on your hands. And I think and the other versatility is, if someone isn't comfortable being worked on their feet or they don't like someone touching their ears, for example, you can work other body parts, and it's the idea that the body's all connected. So I think that versatility is one of reflexology's strength. Is it's very versatile. You can pretty much do it anywhere, and there's options for people depending on their preferences and what they need.
Yeah, excellent. What do you think, Nicole? You want to add anything to that?
I would just add that it's this, when we talk about in healthcare, the whole is greater than its parts, and reflexology brings that to us, that we can do something for once in its whole and not split it up, as you mentioned earlier, James, about parts that we want to take care of.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, ladies. I'm loving this conversation because I think a lot of people, maybe they don't see the value, but I know it firsthand. And having this conversation makes me think, why haven't I gone back? Because I mean, yes, it does feel good, but it really does address different things, and you find out certain things during that that whole time it's being done. You're like, why is that so painful or whatever? And then, so yeah, Callie, please.
So which one of you amazing ladies wants to give us an overview of what a day in the life of a reflexologist is like?
I'm just going to jump in, Callie, just to say, I know one of the things people get confused about is we throw around different terms like reflexologist versus reflexology therapist. And at the Reflexology Association of Canada, we like to use the term reflexology therapist for a couple of reasons. One, like Nicole said, we're looking at addressing the whole body, looking at our clients' people as a whole person. So that therapeutic aspect of reflexology is really important, hence reflexology therapist. But also, our federally trademarked designation is Registered Canadian Reflexology Therapist. And we're really proud of all of the, Lise is currently going through the licensing exam process right now. It is a process. People have to study and work hard to obtain that designation. So really proud of it, and want to highlight the amazing people who go through that process, get that designation, and are currently actively keeping it. So
for sure, bringing that professionalism to it, I would say. And so to answer your question, Callie, about what is the day in the life of a reflexology therapist, I'd have to say that for myself, I operate a foot reflexology practice that's part of a holistic alliance of my practice called Healthcare Solutions. And it's really about promoting that wellness investments. I mean, we live in a culture of that when it's broken, we fix it. In my practice and many of my other colleagues, we look at it as, promoting and maintaining wellness, because we know it's easier to fix, easier to take care of versus fixing. And so I look at it from a head to toe perspective. And so that typical day, because many reflexology therapists operate their own practice, it's really a diverse area to work in. Firstly, being in an independent practice, I think I focus on the client, that person who has an appointment with me and who has come for a session, by getting first their consent. I think, people need to consent to have their session done, to having this application of this pressure point technique to their reflexes. And as Lise mentioned, that's connected to all parts of their body, which the goal of is to help them release some of that tension. And boy, I know that we've got tension, let's not mention all the seas in the world that's caused that. And improving that circulation. And we know that so many of my clients and many of my other colleagues' clients come to us seeking relief, seeking whether it be release from pain, they want to improve their energy, and so to release the body of toxins. We're a go society, and if needed, the reflexology therapy also resets the nervous system from that fight, flight to rest and restore, and helping the system to function better. Secondly, as an entrepreneur, boy, oh boy, that spectrum of being the marketing person, the IT person, social media manager, accounting, all of it in one. But I feel for myself in that day of the life, it's really trying to embrace each day with that vulnerability. The vulnerability in pursuit of my goal of wanting to care, wanting to give that compassionate care and making a difference. And so while it's can be struggling as an entrepreneur, it also has its moments of exhilaration whereby I can say that when I see someone who comes to my office and they fall off to sleep, but it's not that sleep of it's nighttime, but it's one of I am resting. I'm giving my body an opportunity to release stress and tension. So for me, that's what it is. But it's quite diverse, and having that vulnerability within it at times.
That was all great. And that last part, releasing the tension and falling asleep, you had me at that. I'm just going to say. That was awesome. So I'm going to look it over at Ines because it looks like she's really thinking. And I'm wondering if she wants to add anything to that. That was excellent, Nicole. Thank you.
Never look at my face because my face just does things. But of course I'm thinking because I think the interesting point is that we are, most of us, independent business owners, even though a lot of us don't like to think of ourselves as independent business owners. We like to think of ourselves as helping people, but we're business owners. And I just find it interesting to hear other practitioners describe their day. Maybe I'm more of a, I don't know, I'm me, whatever that means. So a day in the life, because a day in the life is so varied, because most people are independent business owners. They kind of do what they want. Some people, it means they have a practice in their home. Some people have a practice in a space that they rent. Some people are hired by spas or integrative clinics. So it really varies. Some people do mobile reflexology where they go to clients' homes or to the hospital or to cancer centers, where we each find our own tribe and our clients end up resembling us. So dear clients, if you're listening, we all know that we're the neurotics. So, and that's actually a point that I want to bring in. When we talk about the whole person, we're not just talking about body parts. We're actually also talking about emotions and thoughts, and some people with spirituality, with meaning. And so whatever tensions we have, whether they're emotional tensions or thought tensions, those are also detoxed. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But the day in the life, there is no typical day in the life. It really is what works for whoever is doing it. And it is, as much as we love the reflexology part, like Nicole said, there is all of the other stuff, which is booking appointments, canceling appointments, moving appointments, saying, I get it, there's a snowstorm, you can't come. There is the social, there is all of that other stuff that most of us don't love, that actually takes quite a bit of time, as well as being with the clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Really like the part you talked about with the emotional aspect. It kind of touches even on what Nicole was saying about vulnerability.
Yeah.
And vulnerability is a power, not a weakness at all. And I think, yeah, when you create a space where people feel like it's okay to be vulnerable and to let these things go, way more is accomplished, way more.
Yeah.
And if people really, I think if more people understood that, it would change the world. It really would.
I agree totally. And it's in the connection. We can talk about reflexology, we can talk about the techniques and the business part, but it is ultimately the connection of the therapist and the client. And if there's trust in there, if there's openness, I mean, you show up in that space. And I call them moments of grace. Like those are true moments of grace when we get to connect in that way, and people just say, I'm here, and the therapist says, I'm here, and you just kind of answer. Our brains are left behind, and it happens in the connection.
So. And I think that would be a very rewarding aspect of what you do.
Moments of
because the impact you're creating on them, right? That is so important. And I think a lot of times people miss that. When we work with a lot of healthcare organizations or having conversations with them, I often say, do you know, the hospital down the road, whatever it is, home care, whatever, they're doing a great job. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, there's big waiting lines and everything, but they're doing a great job looking after the actual ruptured kidney, broken leg, whatever it is. Where there's a lot of challenges, and there's beautiful people in healthcare. So this is not said with any disrespect. It's on the emotional side. And I said, because why do we have so many burnout problems? Why do we have, yes, a lot of that is process, a lot of that is leadership, a lot of that is toxicity, a lot of that is all these different things. But really, at the end of the day, when we think about it, a lot of it has to do with that emotional aspect. And people are driven, make decisions, everything by emotion. So absolutely. Sorry,
And I
Nicole,
think
you're going to say something.
it's also bringing your whole self. I mean, as a reflexology therapist, you bring yourself and not equipment. You know,
Yeah.
you have to show up. And so it also calls for us as therapists to be mindful of our own self-care. Otherwise,
Amen to that.
can't show up.
Yeah. Excellent. I know everybody wants to have to say a lot here because this is a great topic and you all know what you're talking about. But I want to make sure we can get all these questions in, or as many as we can. But go ahead, Callie. My apologies.
So maybe a part B to that question would be for people that have insurance or benefits through work, is seeing a reflexologist therapist something that is covered usually or no?
It's plan dependent, Callie. So it really depends on everyone's individual insurance plan. So what we tell every client is look at your plan booklet. I know there's a lot of, insurance-y language and not everyone likes reading it, but it's really important. Find out what coverage you have. And if you don't see reflexology, ask your administrator, whether it's through, your HR person at work, whether it's through your professional association or union. Hey, this is something that helps me. I'd like it included in our health benefit package. One of the things we are seeing in the industry, and this is writ large, this is not just for reflexology, but there's been a growth in wellness spending plans. So, insurance companies will give, let's say, a client $500, $1,000 a year, and they say, go spend it on your health, spend it on stuff that keeps you healthy and, keeps you well, whether that's a gym membership, yoga, reflexology, whatever else it is, so that people have that flexibility and freedom to make their own healthcare choices and be advocates for their own healthcare. So that's also a great thing for people to look for. Do they have a wellness spending account that they can use on things like reflexology?
Very good. Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that?
All right, so we're going to move into talking a little bit more about the educational path that comes with becoming a reflexology therapist. So the question is going to be, can you tell us about the educational path and maybe include things like how many years of school, how many schools in Canada provide the education, what can be expected when you're in school, all of that kind of stuff. Anything that you think would be important information for someone who's thinking about heading down this educational path. And I will let whoever wants to start go when they are ready.
So the first thing I want to preface, Callie, with this question is that reflexology is not regulated by any province or territory in Canada. And that is important because that means there's no provincially government defined list of requirements of what it takes to become a professional reflexology therapist. So if we take, for example, massage therapy in Ontario, British Columbia, there are set schools and set requirements dictated by those provinces of what it means to become a registered massage therapist in BC or in Ontario. Whereas in, let's say, Saskatchewan or Manitoba, it isn't provincially regulated, so there isn't a government list of these are the approved schools, these are the list of requirements. So because it's not regulated, there is there's a number of schools, educators, other programs out there that do teach reflexology. Now, as a professional association, we have our list of requirements, and I'll let Ines, who's someone who manages, can go through that. But just that context, I think, is really important, that there isn't that set sort of government list of requirements.
Interesting. Ines, what do you think?
A lot. You'll learn that. I always think a lot. Never ask me what I think.
You can tell, like,
People
just looking
hear.
at you. You can. Like, it's awesome. It just, you could see that it's going,
It's just, the gears are turning. Well, But I was kind of drawing the link, the same as people are being able to build their own healthcare options. It's kind of a wonderful opportunity not being regulated, although I am kind of for regulation, but it's still right now we have a wonderful opportunity to decide what do I want to do with this. So somebody could call themselves, hang a shingle out on their front lawn saying, you know, I do reflexology, and nobody could say that they don't. So the question becomes, your clients who are coming to see you, what do you want to let them know? And it's a question of the public, what does the public expect? And then will the health insurance providers actually reimburse any receipts that are written? So if that is the end goal, to have a client who knows what they're walking into with a health insurance provider who is going to reimburse the receipts, then you need to probably look at professional associations, because then you're registered. There is a set public to the government, to the health insurance providers, of saying these are our requirements. There are different health professional associations as well. And it sounds really strange to say you have the opportunity to shop for your professional association, and to have a professional association who's, so Lise, you know, I hope you shopped, because we have our rules that include an entrance exam, that include continuing education, that a lot of people go, oh, why do I have to do this? Well, because these are our standards, this is public, this is what we're doing. But you have to choose to be part of that. So for the educational path, the same thing, the educators, anybody can call themselves an educator of this, because again, it's not regulated, there are no rules. But if their trainings want to be recognized by the various professional associations, they have to show that they meet or at least deliver the materials that the different associations require. So Lise, I should ask, and I think you said you Googled, you know, for the reflexology training. I mean, that's what people do, they Google, so why choose one over another? But that is kind of the state of things. So I hope people Google wisely and make a few phone calls and say, why should I go here?
Yeah, I agree. And let me tell you, I think that's important in so many other areas as well, because at the end of the day, you don't know if you're going to be dealing with, I'll pick worst case scenario, as someone who's read a book and thinks they're an expert. And then, you know what I mean? And then you're like, they haven't gone through any kind of schooling, education, stuff that's really done hands-on. It's really worked with other people that can mentor them, you know, et cetera. And yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's kind of like that difference between hiring a professional and an amateur, right? Which one do you want? So I agree 100%. It's a good comment. And Laura, appreciated what you had to say too. Anybody else before we move on?
Please.
Well, I'll just tell you my journey, just because I'm hitting, you know, the midlife crisis, they say. I think that the best is yet to come, though. That's exactly what I did. Is my husband was having some issues, some health issues and stuff, and I was just frustrated as to what was going on. And so my grandfather was a reflexologist way back when, so I've had treatments from him and I know what it can do. So I looked into it. I guess my niece said I had the gene. And so it's exactly what I did. Is I Googled it to see who, how, what, because I didn't know how it all worked. And I shopped around. There were some teachers around. I fell on the Reflexology Association of Canada website, and I found a teacher. I spoke with some, and I found one that resonated with me. And I ensured that she was registered with the association, because like you said, I just don't want to do this halfway. I would not shop. I would not go to see someone who has just read a book and done that, because reflexology can do so much and so much more. So you make sure. And the education, I have to say, it's self-paced. You could do it when you want, you know, it's not, you have to do it within this, but it's self-paced. And once you get into it, you want to do it quickly. You just get involved. You get, I would like to say, addicted to it. And you want to learn so much more, because everything is just fascinating how everything intertwines. And so I'm not rushing through it, but I want to get it done. So yeah, I'm certified, and you want to display those certifications on the wall. And I had my first paying customer just this week, and I took out my certificate. It's not framed yet, but I took out my certificate and I made sure she could see it, because I want to let her know that yes, I am I'm certified. I'm working on my registration. This is important. So yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anybody else before we move to the next question? Good.
So, what are the job opportunities like in this industry? Is it something that is like overly saturated with people looking to do the work, or something where there is a demand for reflexology therapists?
Wow, I'll take a stab at that question. I think, the last few years has really shown us that it's a new dawn post-COVID. And the type of healthcare we've been offering hasn't been working well. And so I think the benefits and opportunities of reflexology therapy is being better recognized for its true holistic value. And clients, patients, family members are looking for something different or something more, I feel. And I feel that the opportunities are beginning to grow. And because of the positive experience that individuals have. And so I think we're going to be seeing the need for reflexology therapists to move into spaces and become integrated as part of the whole of of our health and wellness system. And with the Reflexology Association of Canada, who've been doing a lot of advocacy work to let the public know that we're trained in a comprehensive way. We have standards and ethics that we adhere to. We will see that different places, as Ines mentioned before, there's a diversity of places to work, whether it's be mobile, within palliative care, within maternal health, mental health, all of those. And I believe that our other health colleagues are beginning to recognize that we can be part of the solution to holistic care.
Very good.
I would like to echo Nicole and add, we're also seeing like tangible from the association side job opportunities and requests from clinics saying, hey, we want a reflexology therapist on our staff. We'd like someone to work alongside us. We're seeing an increase in those calls and an increase in like Nicole said, the public aware that reflexology could assist them in their healthcare. So, or whether it's palliative care or oncology or maternal health. So you're seeing clients ask, can I have my reflexology therapist work on me while I'm in a hospice or in a hospital, or this is what I'm going through. I'd like to also have this therapy alongside, let's say, traditional oncology treatment. So we're seeing a growth and a demand for access to these services.
That's wonderful. Very good.
Do you mind?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
When I want to speak. but to the question of, are we saturated? I think that's actually a really fascinating one for me in particular. I don't think we can be saturated. I always feel like the more of us there are, the more people have access, because again, our clients are going to reflect us, and we can only do so many clients. Like at some point we're full up and there's nobody else. So say to people, shop your therapist, because if there isn't a connection, if you go for one session and you go, that's great, then I'm going, okay, that connection wasn't there. If you made a connection, you would be going back. So that each of us is limited. The more of us, the more the word spreads. And like you were saying, it's been a while since you've gone for reflexology. And I think that's one of the tricky things with the tension, with the however we build up. So my limit is 3 weeks. If I don't have a reflexology session within 3 weeks, my feet have so much tension again that I don't feel hurt because they're just tense and they're more like cement. If I regularly go, I'm going to feel, ooh, you know, what, and that's the good state. But when you're so tense that you don't feel things, you forget until something major happens. So I know there can't be enough of us. And also, there's very few of us that only do reflexology. We have or we specialize within reflexology with certain things. So no, you know, there are 6 of us here, and 6 of us very unique in what we would like in a session, or even over time. Maybe one week I would go to Nicole because that's what I'm needing this week, and next week I'll go to Lise. No, can't be too many of us.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting point. Actually, a few points. I would not recommend you go to Lise today because she's partying on her birthday. But you may not, you know, I'm just saying, get the best care there.
You know what? The funny thing is someone asked me, "Oh, I hope you're getting spoiled and relaxing today." I said, "Oh, yes, I'm in a business meeting. I'm recording a podcast for this, and then I'm in another business meeting." And they're like, "You're working?" And I'm like, "This isn't work. I love this. Like talking about reflexology and just gaining information from these two greats is amazing. Like the more I'm like a sponge right now. The more information I can get, it's addictive. That's all I can say."
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's always nice. I agree with some of the comments earlier that as an entrepreneur, because trust me, we know I'm one of the owners in Caring Support, and you have to do a ton of stuff you don't like. And you know, but it's a necessary part of building your business and doing what's needed. And it's also, it teaches a lot of self-discipline. It teaches a lot of things that say, yeah, you know, whatever it takes kind of mentality. But when you're really working in something you love, it's no longer the word work is used. It's just like you're so passionate about it. And you know, when that comes through, you're like, you know, I'll say client, patient, or whatever that might be the proper vernacular there, and they'll feel that. And that is huge. Because I'm telling you, I kind of wish the way you guys think, and I'm wondering if you should start a side business teaching some of the people like doctors how to have better bedside manner. Because, you know, I mean, there's a lot of great doctors, don't get me wrong, and a lot of them are very competent in what they do. It's just sometimes they are not the best conversationalists, or, you know, or even anything when you're acting with them and you're like, dude, I wish you had a personality. You know what I mean? Just a thought, but I like the way this goes because yes, what you actually do is really amazing and it's helpful to people. And it's very preventative, but it's also the manner in which you do it is huge, and it that gets people like I think Ines was talking about in that relaxed state, and then there's the vulnerability aspects that you know Nicole and Ines were talking about. People when they're in that environment, they're like, oh my God, like this is something I didn't realize I needed, right?
But
So
that's shift in healthcare. We've been talking about, and what we're starting to see, but we'd love to see more, right? It's going towards that preventative, going towards looking at wellness, not just fixing things after the facts, or just, you know, let's put bandages, or just let's manage symptoms. Let's try and get to the root of the problem. It's 100%. Reversing how we think about our healthcare, and what it means to actually work on people to keep people healthy. Like it's a whole like shift that we're starting to see in our healthcare system, but we want more of it, and we want to be part of it, part of that solution, and that part of that shift in thinking.
Yeah.
And I think one of the shifts that I'm a big proponent of is about making a wellness investment portfolio. I think we say to individuals, go have your RRSPs, TSFA, but we need to move about putting together a portfolio of what does wellness look like for you, and how much or how little of it are you going to integrate into your daily living to get that outcome. Because so often I hear from clients, I wish I had known that prevention was the way to go. But in this, in our medical model of silo, we treat the heart, we treat the mental health. That's what's selling out there. And then individuals said, but I still got sick, not recognizing that you have to keep the wheels turning. And there is a way to do that with a wellness approach.
Yeah, that was really well said, by the way. I think that's very true. 100%.
Laura, we are going to jump over to you, and I'm hoping you can tell us a little bit about the Reflexology Association of Canada, and also maybe give us a little bit of a background on National Reflexology Day, which is today, and tell us why the special day was created and what your hopes and dreams and stuff are for it.
Sure. Well, Ines and I laugh because our wish lists are like grows like by the hour of our hopes and dreams for this. But absolutely, I can tell you about the Reflexology Association of Canada. So we're a national professional association. We're one of the oldest national professional reflexology associations in the world, and the largest one in North America. We register professional reflexology therapists from coast to coast, but we also have, international reach. We have a lot of members and connections, around the world, from Australia, New Zealand. We have, members in Singapore, Egypt, Germany, Switzerland, the US. And our focus really is about setting standards and guidelines for professional reflexology therapists here in Canada. So and this is all on our website, but we've got, what is it, in our opinion, these are the standards in terms of training standards to become a professional reflexology therapist. And then once you achieve that, these are the things you need to keep up to date with to continue practicing in Canada. Healthcare is a constantly moving, shifting thing. So one of the elements of our work is a continuing education professional development program that requires all of our professional therapists to stay up to date with changes in healthcare in Canada and changes in the health insurance industry, changes, the last 3 years with public health orders, staying up to date with all the public health orders of like, what are we allowed or are not allowed to do on a given day. So that's what we do. We support professional reflexology therapists in their business with the professional development. And then Nicole mentioned, we have an advocacy promotion aspect of where we promote our professional therapists and advocate on behalf of the reflexology profession broadly with, governments and insurance firms and other key stakeholders. So we're multifaceted.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes,
it's a really important aspect because yes, we promoting our professional members, but we do so publicly so that the public also learns what should I expect, what should I look for, how should I choose, because like Lise, we all Google everything. So who's near me, how do I choose what I want? So not to ignore the public in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's a valid point. Yeah.
And how do you report something? I mean, because it's a professional association and we as reflexology therapists, you can connect with the Reflexology Association to voice a concern, because that is part of protecting the public.
Absolutely. And we'll put out announcements and we'll put out things where it's like, no, the public needs to know this is going on, or this is, we recently updated a few standards and a few guidelines and made them public so the public can go online and saying, hey, these are what we've told all of our therapists. This is what you should expect. If you don't, let us know so we can follow up, we can educate, we can correct, we can support. So it's like I said, we're multifaceted and we wear a couple different hats of both, protecting the profession, promoting professionals, as well as, helping to protect the public as well.
Awesome. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And then I guess National Reflexology Day came out of a dream conversation around our head office team here a couple years ago of saying, you know what, we really would like an awareness day here in Canada to really highlight our professionals in Canada, but also promote reflexology as a viable health option here in Canada. You know, the last 3 years pandemic kind of stalled some of those plans, but this year, today, May 30th, is our inaugural National Reflexology Day, and we've got therapists across the country that are out in the community talking about reflexology, have gone to different workplaces and employers. You know, you can go to our website to find a reflexology therapist near you to go get a session. I know a lot of therapists are also running promotions or specials or other sort of packages that you can look into, but it's really about just promoting reflexology as a viable healthcare option for all Canadians.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Laura.
So we are coming to the end of our episode today, and I want to thank all of you ladies for coming in and taking time out of your very busy schedules to be with us. But before we end, is there anything else that you guys would like to share with us today?
You can see Ines's mind working. Just saying. Okay, just saying. But all you guys are amazing. Nicole, you're going to say something, please.
So for me, I think on this National Reflexology Day, I think it's important for the public to know that reflexology therapists are growing near you, and there's trending research evidence about its effectiveness for health and wellness using caring hands. I think we bring ourselves to this, so I think that give it a try. And particularly for other healthcare colleagues, I'd like to put it out there to say, give it a try, read the evidence, because it is real. This is evidence that clients are saying. And if nothing else, I'll say, you know, follow the Reflexology Association of Canada on one of its hashtags.
Anybody else? Don't let me down, Ines.
I know.
Oh my God, how quickly does somebody get to know somebody else?
Yeah.
The only thing I want to add, because Nicole, what you said was perfect. Give it a try, and if it doesn't work for you, try it with another person. It is about the connection, and I mean, don't keep going, and if it really doesn't feel right for you, but it is about that connection with the therapist.
Yeah. I mean, you know, our world is built on, like, when it comes to relationships, I keep telling people, stop worrying about the transactional aspects of it. You need to focus on the relationship, because you could end up moving somewhere even, and people were like, yeah, I like that person. They're driven by the person. Yes, they love what they bring to the table, and it's extremely important, and they must be competent, because that's an important part of it. But, you know, as you ladies are saying, you know, you have this tremendous opportunity to really build connection with people. And as Ines said a second ago, it's how fast someone can get to know someone. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I love it, because I like to learn people's personal stories. I like to make them feel like great. And so what that does is people say, wow, this is someone who actually takes the time to care about people. And I do. Because it's not about, oh, I want to get to what matters to me. Like, where's my next dollar? Where's my next client? Where's my next, you know, that's just the wrong way of thinking, because it's very short-sighted. So, ladies, anything else before we finish this up?
I can just say that who doesn't like, everybody has their guard up all the time, all the time, all the time. And you think differently when you have your guard up. So if you're going for seeing a reflexology therapist and you have a session and you connect with that person, you let your guard down and you feel different and your body feels different and you think differently and you relax and you can actually not make harsh decisions, and you think of something if you might be pondering, then you're like, oh, I should probably do it this way. You actually think clearer when your guard's down. So who doesn't want to just relax? And the benefit is there's actually so much more going on in the background when your body's relaxing that there go see one. Give it a try. That's all I
Excellent.
can say.
Yeah, ladies, this was fantastic. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I'll let Callie close this out if she wouldn't mind, please.
Well, on behalf of Caring Support to all reflexology therapists, I hope you have a great National Reflexology Day and that it does bring the awareness to reflexology that it deserves. So thank you again for being guests on the podcast, and hopefully we will be able to have you guys back again, maybe even next year, to see how things are going.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Thanks, Callie.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.